what is it? The 6 degrees of separation, but I feel like it's way smaller than that.
Like
with social media,
one.
it's like one.
Right.
And it's how smart can you be and how can you figure out who the person is? And I get so much business done through Instagram direct messages, honestly.
Wow.
Like, because you can find people directly, and if you can't find their email, and sometimes it's just kind of, hard to get through that way.
Yeah.
But my Instagram, I'm very specific about posting the things that my artists are doing and things like that. So if I do reach out to someone or a brand, then they can very easily, it's like a little resume really quickly. Like, okay, this is legit. They work with this person. Oh, that's cool. They're doing this, that. Okay, yeah, I'll respond and give them my email or do whatever, And I mean, I think there's just so many ways to reach people now that there's nothing stopping you from any sort of idea. And if it's a no, it's a no. Then like, what else can you think of? What can we go to next? And how do we pivot is how I kind of maneuver it.
Welcome to Well Coached, the podcast where we talk about how people, sales, profit, and self come together to grow a business that actually works. I'm Chris Weinberg. I've coached hundreds of entrepreneurs into their highest productivity zone by helping them get just corporate enough to lead with clarity, build with purpose, and scale with confidence. Let's dive in. Hey team, welcome back to the Well Coached podcast. I am Chris Weinberg, your host, and we are in for a treat today. You guys know we do a lot of work in the disc profile world, and I'm so happy that I got a big old high eye sitting across from me today, and you'll see that come out. And for those of you that aren't familiar with disc yet, you know that's our behavioral analysis tool that we use to just get a good understanding of what makes you tick, what makes me tick, and understanding all of that, we can get along better. Nikki, who has got a great big high eye, you're going to see a ton of charisma. She's going to be a blabbermouth. She loves to talk, all that good stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. So this will be good. I love Nikki. She works with Martha Earls over at Neon Coast, and we've been developing a relationship over the last few years. She got her start back in Michigan, worked her way down to Nashville, started tour management for Kane Brown, worked her way up into artist management at Neon Coast, signed Nightly, who she works with now, who those guys are about to hit. I love them. I love that. If you haven't heard that band, go check them out. Nightly, they're amazing. We're going to dig into how she builds those teams, how she negotiates deals, how she creates value in this creator economy for the firm and for the artist, and how we think about the business side of music. And at the end of the day, how she maintains herself in this very high stakes industry that can be stressful at times, rewarding, but not without a grind. So with all that, welcome, Nikki.
Thank you.
How's that for an intro?
That was a great intro.
Is that all right?
Blabbermouth. That really stuck out for me. Thanks.
I say that as a compliment. No, listen, man, high eyes are the most fun to talk to. And we share that in common. And,
I got in trouble in school my entire life because I talked too much in school. My mom cried at every single parent-teacher conference and said, please just stop talking in class. Yeah.
School is a curse for high eyes and for ADHD people, but both are blessings as an adult.
Yeah.
Right? Because school, they have to put you in a box.
Yeah.
Right? High eyes do not do well in boxes.
True.
And ADD people do not do well in boxes. So nobody's fault, just is what it is. But I tend to see that folks with big high eyes and or ADD, which sometimes those two go really well together, find their rhythm as they get older because they're not trapped.
Yeah.
I think you can just go to your natural highest productivity zone, but we could talk about that all day, but let's dive in. We're going to stay in our normal lanes of people, sales, profit, and self, and I'm going to start firing off some questions. So let's start with talk about some team building and culture and role clarity and artist management, and we're going to start with your path. So you moved to Nashville, studied music business, and then started working as a day-to-day manager. Now you're managing artists. And what early experiences taught you about leadership and people management in this industry?
People management, leadership. I actually grew up being really involved in my church.
Okay.
And I had to manage the worship band and the rehearsals and what songs are we doing and who's singing, doing the schedule, all that kind of stuff. They had me doing that since I was a freshman in high school, which normally that was like a paid role that an adult would do.
Yeah.
So I started doing
What called you to that?
I was just really involved in my church, and I sang in the worship band, so it was like kind of a natural progression. I did a lot in like the kids' church, and then just grew up from there, which I think taught me a lot about Nashville. Anyways, starting from like the CCM culture that was here, and that's where I first started to learn about Nashville.
Okay.
But for leadership, I just have always kind of been somebody that's in those roles. I think part of it is just I I like being around people, and I feel like I have a pretty good idea of how things should work sometimes. So it happens naturally.
It's a nice way of saying you're opinionated. Is that
sure.
good? Yeah. So in your role now, you're building relationships not only with the artists, but with their support teams, the tour crews and production and label execs. How do you instill clarity and alignment among so many different parts?
I think you got to get to know people, find their strengths, and just use those strengths for them and let other people know what they're good at so that these people feel acknowledged and accomplished. It makes them want to do more in the crew. But just feel seen, I think, is nice when you're building your team, and not being afraid for your own role to acknowledge other people when they're doing good in their roles. And then I think that builds like a strong bond.
Yeah.
But it's different. Every single team is different. Every single role is different in the crew, and it's not easy, and you don't always get along with everyone. A lot of it is swallowing your pride and your ego, I think, and just doing what's best for the artist at the end of the day is really important.
Yeah, we literally on the last podcast just talked about acknowledging people, acknowledging team members, and you mentioned that about, and we call it like people who feel good about themselves generally produce good results. And as a high I, that's a natural switch for you to tell people, well done. That's a natural switch. Yeah. For some people, that has to be manufactured. Right. And so it's natural for you to. High I's are big collaborators, right? They're collaborators, but you're in a business that is so collaborative, and you're fortunate. You have a natural switch to lean in toward that. One thing I've seen about Nikki over the last few years, guys, is that she loves to collaborate. I mean, she is not a lone wolf by any stretch of the imagination, which is allowed you to be successful and continue to find
I like
new
people.
things.
Yeah. And I had someone in Martha who reached down when I was, just in college and offered me an internship, but she showed me first, like, this is how you help someone grow in the industry, and you make them feel good about what they're doing, and you, like we said, acknowledge it, and you aren't afraid to tell other people. I think there's a lot of people that are afraid that if they say this person did this good, then that's somehow making them seem less. Mm-hmm. But I think it's the opposite. I think if you're someone that brings in someone that does a really good job, you're also doing a good job.
They're just pushing you up, right?
Exactly.
When you bring, golly, you're saying, we literally just talked about this too. I mean, you said Martha brought you in and showed you the ropes, and we call that showing what good performance looks like. Mm-hmm. And you're so lucky to have had her.
I literally sat in her as an intern, and this was when she was first it was at Big Machine Music. Mm-hmm. And then when she moved to do artist management, she let me come with her there. And for my entire time, I interned for her for almost at least a full year, if not a year and a half. And I sat in a chair in her office, in the corner in her office for that long. And she let me sit in there, listen while she's on these phone calls with people, be inside of meetings, hear everything. And it's like, she is such a brilliant communicator that it was like the absolute crash course that no one could ever have paid for. It is like the greatest gift I feel like that I was given coming in, just being there. I remember, this is kind of funny, the chair, and this is a good example for people coming up. Just know sometimes there's some things that are not as fun, but you gotta just like push past it. There was a chair that I sat in. It was like the most uncomfortable chair. It was like an art piece chair. It was this bright orange, just metal chair, and it was my chair. And she had no idea I would never say it, because it's like, I'm sitting in here getting to hear all of this. Like, shut your mouth, don't ask for like a more comfortable chair. But it was like, I would like get up every day like in so much pain, but it's like, you suck it up and you do it, and you learn from the best.
What a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a blessing. And entrepreneurs out there, that's showing what good performance looks like and allowing your people to see it. And when they get, you want them to be as good or better than you, because they are only pushing you up, not out. And that time with Martha has allowed you to wire your brain in a way to be super productive and not have to reinvent the wheel yourself, right? Mm-hmm. You start with a certain system. Now you can go improve it and put your own spin on it and do all those things. That's textbook. In traditional business settings, our audience of entrepreneurs and business owners, they often struggle to hire the right people or define roles. And what has helped you decide when someone is in the right seat versus when you needed to restructure?
Gosh.
Have fun with that one.
Man.
How long does it take to know you got the wrong person in the wrong in a role?
I don't think it takes that long.
Mm-hmm. How long does it take to make a change?
Long.
Yeah.
It does, because I think we come from a place of like, they can figure it out. You can help them. They can grow. We can teach them.
We're optimistic.
Yeah, we're optimistic.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's not always the case. And sometimes they're just not in the right, like you said, they're just not in the right role.
Yeah.
You know, when I came to Nashville, I thought I wanted to be an artist.
Yeah.
And then I learned about management and I was like, oh, wait, no, this is actually how my brain works. And I think that's for everybody. I think you have to experience different roles to figure out when it clicks.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, you've said it before, right? Hire slowly, fire fast.
Hire slow, fire fast.
Yeah.
And then the other one that I was thinking through here is like, you oftentimes in this business, when folks are young, you may have a winner disguised as a loser just because they're in the wrong seat.
Yeah.
Right? They may be brilliant in another area.
Yeah.
But if they're in the wrong hole or the wrong lane, all of a sudden they could look like they're a loser. And hopefully we have good leaders around to go, you know what, maybe she's better over here.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Some trial and error in there.
Yeah. Trial and error. You signed Nightly in 2021, and you've worked with big artists like Kane. How do you manage the ego and creative tension and ambition in a team while still maintaining culture and trust?
Well, I think first is I believe in those artists so much, and I believe in the direction that they want to go in, that I'm very lucky to feel really confident in trusting them in the directions that they're heading.
Yeah.
I think my job is to support their vision, but also be able to ask questions. And the questions don't have to be, I don't want to ask a question of them that makes it feel like what they're doing is wrong, but makes them think about it from another angle.
Yeah. You don't want to be the cold water on the idea.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and sometimes that's really tough, because sometimes I feel like, man, I really feel like this could be great for you, but you're wanting to go in this direction. I mean, we just had this with Nightly recently, where we had a single that we had ready to come out for the end of summer. Everybody loves the song. I still love the song. I think it's going to come out at some point. But the band just came to me and they were like, we feel like this isn't the wave that we're on right now. We love this song, but we got to pivot. I mean, this song was like almost done in mixing, mastering. Like, we had the release date. We were working on album art. We were that far. And I just kind of asked them a few questions. Okay, well, what is this wave? And where do you see it going? And what is this release? And do you feel confident in being able to finish this project in the time you're telling me? If you feel like you have these things and your gut is telling you yes, then I'm going to support you in that. But like, I want to ask the questions of why, what is the why? Martha always says that. And it's so simple but powerful. Like, what is the why for this? And I do feel like the most successful artists do have these, like, there's like these big ideas kind of floating around, and like the best ones are able to grab it at the right time and pull it down and execute it. So I want to support that vision.
Yeah.
So what they did is they dropped a surprise album on Halloween.
Okay.
And that was the whole vision. They had this vision of this song called Werewolf and a couple of these other songs that felt like they were in a Halloween vein.
Yeah.
And they were like, we don't know anybody that's done a Halloween album in how long?
So
like,
cool.
Think about like Thriller, think about Monster Mash, the fact that Stranger Things is coming out, like everybody's like getting into fall. It's such a big season. They're like, we want to support that. And we feel like where everybody else is, all their aim is just on New Music Friday. It's just on these specific playlists that are just these, Pop Rising, whatever, the big ones you can get. But they were like, I don't feel like anybody's pitching to like Halloween playlists that everybody puts on at their Halloween party.
Right.
And they put it on. And like, there's a whole new way of discovery, these mood playlists and things like that. So we talked kind of through all those points, and it was like, okay, this is the vision. We're pivoting from this. That's fine. I'll handle it. You just go be creative over here. And then when we're ready, now we go on to that.
Awesome.
So I guess that's a long-winded way of saying the artists, that I work with, I want to work with people that I really feel like have a strong vision.
Yeah.
And then, that's my job, is just to lift up and
support it and dreamweave. I often call, in Discworld, I call high eyes the dream weavers, because you're able to latch on to folks' dreams and see it with them. And the great thing about high eyes, and I think this is true in music management, is you're never going to be an anchor to people's ideas. High eyes find a way to, it's kind of like some attorneys are deal makers and some are deal breakers. High eyes are always deal makers. They're always trying to find how to, like, okay, good, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's figure it out. And
that's my hardest thing too, with a lot of these guys being, D, what did we say? D, S or C? Sorry.
Yeah, you got a little bit of all of it in there.
Where the Johnny is always kind of coming with me with these ideas, and I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And I go like, big idea world. And he's like, but no, I need like the logical.
Yeah.
Tell me what the points are. How much money is this going to cost this? Does this make sense?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm trying to be better as a high I and not just to be the big, I like to do that, but I know to speak to them, I have to come to them logically.
Yeah. And team, we work on that with Nightly. We do disc sessions. We know all of their disc, and I think it's been beneficial.
Definitely.
Right. And so, because human behavior is super complex. We all have a natural style, and the deal is to be able to recognize when you need to modify your style. For Nikki, that has been big ideas are awesome, but you got a band member here who needs the nuts and bolts and the logic. So that's a pivot.
Yes.
And us knowing that, not only through time and grade by being with each other, but by being able to take an assessment, it shortens the learning curve like that.
And I feel like it's making me better at my job.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to have, to me, it's very easy to have big, grand, bold ideas, creative thoughts. But what's not easy for me is to be like, okay, but then what's the first step and the second step and the third step to make it happen?
Right.
And so I think that balance has like made me a better manager in my role.
Awesome. Hey team, are you looking to elevate your professional and personal life in the heart of Nashville? Well, since 1957, the Nashville City Club has been the city's premier private membership club, offering an exceptional experience in fine dining, networking, and memorable events. As a member, you'll enjoy top-tier networking opportunities, business development events, mentoring programs, social mixers, and signature holiday celebrations. The club's private dining room serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner in a professional yet relaxed environment featuring menus crafted by Nashville's top culinary professionals. Members enjoy personalized concierge services, including bookings for concerts, events, sports, and dining reservations. Additionally, the club offers discounted private event spaces for personal and professional gatherings, accommodating over 200 guests at a time. We are located at 200 South 2nd Avenue. The Nashville City Club provides a versatile environment that serves as both a home away from home and an extension of your office. The warmth of the staff, the energy of the city, and the pride of the community are felt instantly upon arriving. Join us for this thriving community of Nashville's most respected and accomplished citizens. Apply for membership today and experience the unparalleled benefits the Nashville City Club has to offer. For more information or to start your application, visit NashvilleCity.com or email info@NashvilleCity.com. We're going to switch to the selling part of music a little bit. In music management, you're always selling the artist's brand, the performances, the image, not just the songs. And how do you learn to present value to labels, brands, and artists? How do you present value other than the songs? How are you talk to us a little bit about, you've got Nightly, and it's not just the music. It's their image. It's the other things you're trying to get them into. Walk us through that a little bit.
I think that the artists have to have something to say. I think people need to be able to relate to them kind of on more of a human level, especially with how short form content works and things like that. Now, if you aren't relating to an artist on a human level, then you're not really going to take the time, I think, to go past it much further. I think Kane has done an incredible job of being so open with his story, with his background and who he is, where he's come from, that it's opened up all these doors of people saying, wait, I've been through that. I've been homeless. I've been through these things. And he took that and now he's here. I can do that. And it just creates a different bond between artists and fans. I think it's about how you give back. Kane with Boys and Girls Club, Nightly's done stuff with Charity Water and different things like that, where it's you're confidently vulnerable to talk about yourself, where you come from, where you want to go, and then people are able to grasp onto that. We always talk about the artist being bigger than the song, and I just think that that's the most important thing. So it's not, you're not living song by song by song. You are creating a brand, and you're showing people who these artists are as human beings, and then now you can grasp onto that. But yeah, it's not just about the song. It's about, even on the silly side, Nightly loves Olive Garden. They love it. They love it so much. And when we're on tour, they have family dinners at Olive Garden on days off. They take the whole band and crew out and everybody puts their phone down. No one's allowed to look at their phone. We're just there together talking about the tour. And it's like this really nice, fun dinner that we do, but it's like, it's not everybody's going to Olive Garden. Like it's a funny kind of ironic thing, but like it's a very nostalgic and happy place.
Yeah.
And they post about it all the time. Their fans are all in on it. Fans would bring them breadsticks. And like on this last tour, they got so many gift cards to Olive Garden that like almost every time we went, it was paid for because fans had brought gift cards, right?
Wow.
So they take that and it's like, now this is a fun, cool thing, but now how can we like build this?
Yeah.
So with a team member at Please and Thank You, which is the VIP company that we work with, a woman there named Meg was like, hey, why don't we like actually reach out to Olive Garden and set some, like, let's do a deal. And she just like hunted them down, was emailing all these people, and come to find out the people on their team are fans of Nightly. They know exactly who they were. They're like, we see their posts all the time. We love them. And Nightly just created a song for Olive Garden for the Never Ending Possible for Pasta Month.
How about that?
And it was an incredible brand deal. And the fans felt so seen because they were like, wait, you manifested this. We go to Olive Garden before shows because you guys love it. So now the fans are in on it. So it's like building the brand in other ways too. That's just like on a human, like fun level. And now Nightly's working with Olive Garden, and that's like
and bring in Olive Garden, a whole new set of people that probably otherwise would have never seen them.
So many people are going. They're posting and saying we're just going because we want to have the Never Ending Pasta Bowl and play the song while we eat it. And they're posting it, and it's like, thank you for doing that. Please keep doing that. But it's so cool.
That's a great example. That is so good.
It's fun.
You did a 2 minutes interview, and you said on an interview that you've done before, and you said strength is starting from anything is possible, and why not try it, which is so cool. Such a high ice statement. How do you translate that mindset into getting deals or opening doors that others may consider too risky? Because you've got a really good. Nikki is super creative, and she has tons of ideas, and sometimes you're swinging for the fences, and I would guess folks might be seeing that's a weird idea, or you're never going to get that done.
Well, the Olive Garden one, I feel like is so perfect for that, because it's like such a random, I feel like a lot of artists go after the same things for what they want to do, like with brand sponsorships, but what do you actually like? And if you have to do 10 posts about something, what are you not going to turn around and be like, oh, we have to do another post about this. Like, we don't even like this. But it's like, if you find things that they actually like and are excited about, then you can always find the person. What is it, the 6 degrees of separation? But I feel like it's way smaller than that.
Like
with social media, it's like one.
Right.
And it's how smart can you be, and how can you figure out who the person is? And I get so much business done through Instagram direct messages, honestly.
Wow.
Like, because you can find people directly, and if you can't find their email, and sometimes it's just kind of, hard to get through that way.
Yeah.
But my Instagram, I'm very specific about posting the things that my artists are doing and things like that. So if I do reach out to someone or a brand, then they can very easily, it's like a little resume really quickly. Like, okay, this is legit. They work with this person. Oh, that's cool. They're doing this, that. Okay, yeah, I'll respond and give them my email or do whatever, And I mean, I think there's just so many ways to reach people now that there's nothing stopping you from any sort of idea. And if it's a no, it's a no. Then like, what else can you think of? What can we go to next? And how do we pivot? I think is how I kind of maneuver it.
Test fast, fail fast, adjust fast. Just keep moving, right? That was really going to be my next question. You just about answered, but I was going to say, what with online and social touring, global fandom, how do you decide where do you invest your sales and marketing energy, and how are you choosing which platforms matter the most? And it sounds like Instagram is your horse. Yeah.
It's just meeting people where they're at.
Yeah.
I think people always feel like it's one size fits all for ads and for marketing and that kind of stuff, but it's not. It's where are your fans at? We just took Nightly to Asia because they have a huge following there, and I've been saying it for years. And, a lot of people will just look at these very specific numbers on the platform they look at, but it's like I'm looking at this as a whole, where I can see that there's fans on all these platforms saying, please come to Asia, please come to, they went to Manila and Japan, Osaka and Tokyo in Japan. And it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It's these fans that have been begging them to come there for years. And then you go and you actually make the jump and you do it. And yes, it was a super risk, but we were able to do a festival that made it feasible for us to do the whole thing. And then once we were out there and we knew we could get out there, it's like, now how do we make the most of this? So it's like we added 3 shows that were just fan shows. And we had no idea if people were going to show up or not, but we just put it out there and all of them sold out in 2 days.
Wow.
And now we're looking at going back. But yeah, I think it's just it's meeting the people where they're at. You know, a lot of Nightly fans love to thrift. So what kind of deal can we do with Poshmark or, you know, any sort of thrifting, you know, Goodwill? I don't any of it. You know, people go there and that's like their audience. For Kane, it's like, he like really loves golf right now. And he loves sports and athletics and working out. And so it's like, okay, this is it. To me, I look at it as a whole new group of fans that we can reach through a different way. But it's not just their traditional, hey, my name is Kane Brown and I just put out a new song, listen to it on this streaming platform. People don't want to hear that anymore. They don't want to hear out now. Yeah. You know, they want to be spoken to as people and bring them in on something that they're excited about. Don't always ask them for something. Like, let's provide value to people.
It's super complex.
Yeah.
Let's talk about music management. It might seem glamorous to a lot of people, but behind the scenes, it's about margins and profit and loss and budgets and cash flow and risk.
You're teaching me.
What's one financial lesson that you've learned the hard way?
Oh, I think maybe with touring, especially independent touring.
Yeah.
You look at that initial budget and initial kind of what you think you're going to end with. And it, you know, at one point on one tour, we weren't ending where we thought we were going to, and we had to figure out a tour sponsorship and some things to go along with it, which we did. And it was definitely learning the hard way of you think you kind of have it all balanced out and ready to go, but there's always things that are going to happen on the tour. You know, your bus is going to break down. This show that you were expecting a bonus at, the bonus didn't come through. Anything like that can happen. So you have to be creative in finding something to balance that out. With one of them, we did a deal where Nightly just made TikToks at Marathon gas stations, because at the time their whole aesthetic was like cool places, kind of nostalgic performance videos. So we just reached out to somebody at Marathon, pitched them the idea, will you just give us gas cards? And if you just give us gas for this tour, then we will stop at this many marathons and perform one of their songs in front of a Marathon gas station. And also we'll give away a gift card to a fan and we'll do a cool like giveaway with you. Yeah. And that paid for all their gas for the entire tour.
How creative.
So it's like just thinking, a bit outside the box. But yeah, I mean, that was the one that initially we thought, oh, this is going to be simple. Like we've got it all. And then as we got into it deeper and like started adding more crew and stuff, we're like, okay, wait, no. We have to figure something else out. And that was a massive amount of money that came off of our shoulders by doing that. And it was things that we were already going to do. We were already going to post TikToks in interesting places, but now
you monetized it.
Yeah. And it further goes into the branding of them, where it's like gas stations are nostalgic. You like to go there, get your snacks. Like it's kind of like fun remembering like being on road trips and things like that, which is Nightly's brand is very nostalgia. So it matched.
Yeah, and that, guys and gals, that speaks to wisdom is in the group, and having a team around you, whether you're in the music business or not, a team around you that you allow and expect to use their brains and think. And imagine if Nightly had to try to figure all of that stuff out by themselves, they'd probably be stuck on the side of the road somewhere with no gas. And
not be fun.
And so the unsung heroes we talk about, the artist is out there on stage and being the star, but there's so many things going around and behind and beside and above and below to keep that artist in their highest productivity zone. That is a parallel into just about any other business. And it's teams go a lot further than individuals. Yeah.
And I highly recommend what we're doing, where it's like you're looking at the P&Ls every month.
Yeah.
And I don't like looking at that stuff, because it's like my brain is so like big idea where if something isn't going well, I can figure it out. I'll figure something out. I'll find somebody, I'll find this money, I'll find this. But if I can be consistently just like looking at it on a monthly basis, which is what we're doing, then it actually focuses me more, because I'm able to see where we're at and know like we're in a good place, or I do need to start like getting into gear and like figuring out some sponsorships or some interesting new ways to bring money in. Or if it's like, okay, we're good. Like they're making an album right now. We're sitting pretty. I feel good about what's coming in. And that part of my brain can kind of rest and I can just be more creative to be creative.
Yeah.
So that has been very helpful to me.
Well, thanks for walking us into that, because we talk here a lot that creatives in particular, usually a P&L is like a cuss word.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, though, those drudgery of the numbers will set you free. And we've gotten into a really good habit of, Nikki does pay attention now. What does that P&L statement look like? How are we doing? Are we winning? And we don't use it as we use it as a tool to go, how did we do? And do we need to do something different going forward, or are we good?
Yeah.
And so you got a highly creative person over here that probably never once in her childhood said, I can't wait to grow up and learn all about accounting.
No, I've almost failed accounting.
Yeah, but in the people, sales, profit, self realm of getting those things in harmony, you're now paying attention to the profit or to the financial picture, which fuels you to go do the other things. So it all ties together. And the more we do it, those numbers aren't scary, are they?
Yeah, it's taking the emotion out of it.
Yeah, it's no emotion.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful
I was the
thing.
person that like wouldn't look at my test grades.
Yeah.
They'd like hand me my paper and I would just like flip it over and wait until the end of class to be like, or I'd show it to my friend and be like, is this worse than a B? Is it worse than a C? And if they're like yes or no, then that determined how long it would take me to look at it.
Yeah.
You know, for like how it's going to affect my day. But yeah, it's definitely like trying to take the emotion out of it. It's just black and white. It's, you know, where are we? Just very simply numbers on a page. And then now how can I grow? It makes me more excited to grow it too, I think, seeing it, because I'm watching in real time like, ooh, that worked out well. Like that looks good on there. Okay, I want to bring in another one of those. That looks good on there. That's going to affect this for next month. And it's made it easier, not so scary.
Well, a good P&L is it's your pat on the back. It's rewarding your performance. And so or being an indicator that something needs to change. And what a good P&L should do is be a good report card with clarity and hopefully give some actionable items about where to go. And it's hard to know that if you're not looking at those numbers, you're just guessing. Yeah. You know, so. Oh, yeah. And some guessing's okay. I mean, great business is art and science. It's both. It's both things, and both are equally important. Some of us just lean. You lean much more into the art. Yeah. Some people lean much more into the science, but having a combination of both, people, sales, profit, self, it's all of it. Yeah. It's all
It's why you've introduced the people you've introduced to the team.
Yeah, that's right.
That helped me a lot. Yeah. Good. Even though sometimes I tell them I don't want to talk about this right now. But I know it's always what I need to hear. I need to stop. Yeah. Thank you, Jess. Shout out.
That's right. In the creator space or music space, what's been a mistake where you've seen someone try to maybe scale too fast or accepted a deal that looked good but actually hurt their margins? And I'm trying to draw a parallel of how can entrepreneurs avoid the same mistakes in their businesses. Like, do you ever see folks or artists that maybe get out of the gate really fast, but they don't have the infrastructure or scaffolding around to sustain it? Right?
I think that's such a huge thing for people that blow up on TikTok right now. Because it's like you have a song go, maybe you live in the middle of the country, you've never played a show, you don't have a team around you, you don't know what's a good deal, what's a bad deal, you sign a terrible production deal, now you're stuck in that, and this person's taking way more than they ever should have, and how long are you going to be in that? Or you sign a big record deal with a big publishing deal that holds you for much longer than it should, that I've experienced recently.
And you think that little bit of money that they're giving you is, oh, you made it. You made it.
But it's also the people around them that are saying, yes, take this. This is so great. Look at how much money it is, knowing that they're taking a piece of that as well. Yeah. You know, I think it's when you are one of those artists that's having a moment, there are so many great resources like this, like podcasts and books and great people in the music industry that walk around and talk about the right and the wrong way to do it, that you have to put in as much time into learning about the business as you do just continuing to grow that moment that you're having. But I feel kind of sad for some of these artists that you see them have the absolute biggest moment that you could have ever asked for as an artist, but then without the foundation around them, it's like it crumbles so quickly afterwards. And you can't, a lot of them, I don't mean to say you can't. Most of them haven't been able to figure out a way to have that next or third hit or a sustainable career. And then it's like, what do you do? Yeah. So I think it's in that place, you got to do everything that you can to build that foundation around you so that you can continue to, make that moment happen. And it has happened for a lot of people, but there's just a lot of them where it goes and it's gone.
Crash and burn.
Yeah.
So many companies, not only in music, but other businesses think that revenue is the only thing. So you have that big moment, and hopefully that TikTok moment's producing some revenue for them.
Yeah.
But revenue doesn't mean profit, and it doesn't mean sustainability. Those are two different things.
No. Yeah.
That's where it gets back to the people sells profit. And you have to be building scaffolding around that. And so when you're evaluating a tour or any project, how are you assessing the cost of that versus long-term value brand? Because not everything is immediate profit. You're making some decisions to build the brand over time.
Yeah.
So how do you juggle those things? Because now you're paying attention to a P&L, so we got to be in the black.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you want to take some chances on things. So you got to have a combination of, yes, this might pay us. This one may not pay us today, but it might come later. Mm-hmm. How does your head get around those kind of things?
Sometimes it's just a gamble, to be honest with you. I think you got to make the best, most educated decision that you can make where you're putting money towards something that you really hope is going to be beneficial down the road, like you're saying. With Nightly on the independent scale, it's really serious because it's like we're dealing with the money that's coming out of their pocket. So when we do a fan event or album listening or anything like that, it costs us money, but we're building that fan base one by one in such a strong way that those fans are going to be with Nightly forever because they've gotten to have like incredible experiences or have gotten to meet them in an interesting way. And that stuff sticks with you as a fan. And I know that because it's like, I'm a super fan of music. That's where I came from on this. And I always think about like some of my favorite artists. If they did this, how would I feel if I got to go? Like, would I be like super stoked? There's like one specific, like I love John Mayer. He's like my favorite. And so I say it all the time where it's like, all right, if John Mayer did this, would I like think that's super cool? Would I pay this amount of money? Would I like drive for this? Would I travel for this? And I kind of like use that and try to put my brain in the fans brain of the super fan of like, are we providing value to them? Is this something that's going to last for a long time? Or is this just something that feels cool to us? And maybe it'll grow into something, maybe it won't. But, with Asia, with Japan, that was a huge risk. And because of the festival that we did, it ended up being, pretty much a wash, but still like that's a lot of their time and energy and they're leaving their families for 2 weeks to go to the other side of the world. But that right there set us up to where now we have all of the proof that those fans in Asia do want them to come tour there. There's a massive audience that are rabid fans of them, bringing the most beautiful fan gifts and written letters. And we have video of every single bit of it that now I can go back to these agents and these promoters and people that are doing tours in Asia and say, this is why you need Nightly to go. So that's why that value was so important, because now I have proof of concept that even though this one specific number you're looking at your chart doesn't tell you that they can sell as many tickets there, I just proved to you that they did.
Right.
And so things like that as well, I think it's a risk. We all kind of are like, man, we hope people show up to these shows. We don't know. We have people commenting, please come here. But is that for real?
Yeah,
are they really going to show
right,
up? Yeah.
Right.
And it was a big risk, but it was a huge reward because now that's going to grow that whole entire side of the world for them for touring and music and everything else.
Such an interesting business.
It is.
It is the weirdest business.
I love it though, because I know it's weird.
So weird.
Yeah. I mean, even for the company though, like with Martha, she had me recently go out and do a few conferences. I spoke at a conference called Big Sound in Australia. It was in Brisbane. And then I went straight from there halfway through. Somebody, JJ at Jump Global, who we use for our company to help us get just speaking engagements, conferences, that kind of things. He was like, hey, there's another conference in Korea. You're on this side of the world. Do you want to, instead of going back home, why don't you just hop on a plane and go to Seoul and do this next conference? And I called Martha and we kind of talked it through. We were like, all right, does this make sense for the company, for this spend, because it's flights, it's hotels, it's all that kind of stuff. And it's not cheap and it's on the other side of the world and you got to eat food, there's a lot of costs associated with it. But we looked at it in a way of like, all right, well, let's let's be strategic about this. Who do you specifically want to meet with? And can that happen? And on the panel, like, who are you speaking with? And what are different things? We just kind of creatively brainstormed, like, what are some ideas we could do? Okay, like, it'd be cool if you could go say hi to this person and maybe you could talk to them about this idea that we had. And so I went out and did it. And it was like 2 of the most impactful like conferences I've ever gone to, I feel like, in my career, because we're so internationally focused at Neon Coast that now when we go into these markets, we have so many relationships with incredible people based on like, okay, you're going to go spend, I think it was like 24 days or something like that, from like leaving Nashville to coming back, and just hoping, because you don't know how this stuff is going to work out, that it's going to work the way you want it to. And ended up being great. But that was definitely a monetary kind of spend, just from looking at it from the company side of, is this going to be beneficial for everybody?
Yeah. And well, you guys are putting your in proximity approach is something we talk about a lot here. And that tour you went on puts you in the proximity approach and rooms and people you needed to be around for the future. So that's a monetizable event, even though it may feel like an expense right now. It's really an investment in the future.
Yeah, very much.
Let's talk about the self part a little bit. Okay. Managing artists and tours can be super stressful. You're in a high stress deal, lots of travel, what you just talked about. Stakes are high. Are we making money? Are we losing money? How do you stay grounded and carry yourself through seasons of chaos?
I try to remember to zoom out and realize where I'm at, because a lot of the things I'm doing now and that stress me out now, if I really zoom out, I can look at it and be like, man, I couldn't have imagined doing this when I was, just starting out in college or just moving to Nashville. Like, I know that I am super blessed in my position, and the things that I get to do are things that no one gets to do. Half the stuff that I'm doing, it's Martha and I sometimes sit there and we just like go through what we did the month before, and we're like, how is that our life? And I think maintaining that perspective and not allowing yourself to get like jaded by the industry, you're not always going to win. It is hard. It's stressful. It's can be really tough sometimes and very emotional, and make you feel like, we talked about this yesterday in our EQ, like taking things personally when you give an idea and somebody doesn't like it, and all that kind of stuff can like weigh on you.
Yeah.
But the more you can just take a second, zoom out and realize where you're at and what you're doing, I think that perspective has been like very helpful to being like, don't complain about this. Yeah. You're tired because you have to pack because you're going to wherever tomorrow. Don't say that. Right. Yeah, that's ridiculous to me. So it's just always zooming out and just looking at it from an outside perspective of like, do you realize what you get to do right now? Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, you get to do it. You don't have to do it.
I absolutely get to do it. I feel very, very lucky.
You have a spouse that's also in the music business.
Yeah.
Do y'all have any ground rules at home about turn it on, turn it off, or does that matter in your house?
Honestly, we do talk about work a lot, but we both love it a lot.
Yeah. So it never feels heavy.
Yeah, but if it does, I just say like I need to just be done.
Yeah.
And that's just like, and same for him. He works in mixing. It's same industry, very different technical things that we deal with, but still a lot of people, dealing with people, which is hard because people are, it's a human being. It's not like Martha always says, it's not like we're selling a can of Spindrift here. It's like, this is a human being that you're dealing with that has feelings and emotions, and you have to, be a good person, be kind, try to do your best to do what they're asking to do. But sometimes it is hard when you have realistic expectations and things like that. So yeah, it can get really stressful, but I think there is something about saying like, okay, now all I want to do is watch the Lions and not talk about business for a moment. Yeah. And you do have to be able to just turn it off, and they have to be able to respect that.
Yeah. And now watching the Lions is far less stressful than it used to be.
It's so wonderful. It's so nice. Yeah.
Hey team, are you looking to elevate your golf game year-round? Nashville City Golf, located within the Nashville City Club at 200 2nd Avenue South, offers a premier indoor golfing experience right in the heart of downtown. With over 350 real-world courses available on state-of-the-art TrackMan IO simulators, you can challenge yourself on some of the world's most renowned fairways without leaving the city. Whether you're a seasoned golfer or just starting out, our facility caters to all skill levels. Features of the club include TrackMan IO performance tracking, an adjustable swing stage, indoor putting, and great upscale lounge and food and beverage, as well as PGA instruction right on site. Nashville City Golf isn't just about swinging a club, it's about experiencing a revolution in golf practice and entertainment. Our cutting-edge features elevate your game and create an unforgettable experience. We offer flexible membership options to suit your needs, as well as booking for an individual sessions. Ready to tee off? Visit NashvilleCityGolf.com to learn more about memberships, book a session, or schedule a lesson with one of our PGA instructors. Elevate your game at Nashville City Golf, where the best of golf meets the best of Nashville. You started in one role as tour manager, and now you're manager and deal maker and strategist. How has your identity shifted? What mindset changes have you had to make or go through?
I learned a lot being a tour manager. I didn't ever know that I was going to do that. That happened out of, we didn't have someone, and
you're up.
Literally, Martha was like, just go out for 2 weeks and I'll find a tour manager while you're gone. Out on the road. But she's like, it's just 2 shows, 3 shows, you can handle it. And then that ended up being almost 2 years. But I think Kane at that time, everybody in the crew was brand new to it. Every single person was like, they'd never toured before. And it was so exciting and fun that I think that was a reason he wanted me out there as a tour manager, because I was in that same place where we all were kind of figuring it out as we went. And it wasn't just some, no offense to a lot of tour manager here, it wasn't just some dude just like, doing this to a bunch of guys. It's their first time touring. So that taught me a ton about, touring and artists' lives and what it means to be on the road. It does seem like it's just one big party all the time, but it is exhausting. Yeah. And I think every manager should have to experience being out on the road for some time in that kind of role, because it makes you a better manager. But what I've learned about myself through that, I've gotten to do a lot of different things that have just made me learn on the go. And I think I'm pretty good at doing that. And I think I've learned that just from having to be put in those positions, just thrown in. And so I do that to a lot of people that I work with. And I'll give them as much as I can to get them set up. But I do think there's something about just going and doing it and then getting the confidence of like, wait, I did a really good job. I can do this. I didn't know I could. Yeah. So I learned that way, and I kind of, do that with my people as well. I think there's several lessons in there to talk about. One, when you're young in your career, team members, do anything possible to get the experience. Yes. Even if it's not your most natural lane, say yes to everything, right? High I's are very good at that. So from a disc perspective, I's will say yes to everything. S's and C's will have a little bit more caution. So if you have taken disc and you're a young S or a C, or if you haven't taken it and you feel like you're a little bit cautious about trying new things, get over that, because that's the only way you're going to start building a broad competence level, which builds your confidence level, which gets you funneled into your natural zone eventually. The second part of that is leaders out there. Look how happy Nikki is. And a lot of that is because her boss has allowed her to do a ton of stuff. Yeah. And a ton of stuff that sometimes would be reserved for the boss. And Martha gives you a ton of bandwidth. Yeah. And you have lived up to it. Thanks. And as Martha has given, and so leaders, as you give opportunities and bandwidth, you can always pull that back in if the person's not performing. Yeah. But if the person is performing, you keep giving more and more. And that has been y'all's position there. Yeah. And I've learned from that, like, about delegation myself, and that it is freeing. It is a wonderful thing. If you can be good and if you can have great people to delegate to, then it is freeing. Yeah. Yeah. It's a wonderful feeling. Man, in the beginning, saying yes to things, I'll just say one more thing. Not to whatever, but this is like for other people, like people young coming into the industry. I was going to school. I was interning for Martha and then working at Ruth's Chris at the time. When I graduated, it was working for Martha in the management company Monday through Thursday. Thursday night, you leave at midnight. You go on the road for the weekend. I was tour managing. You'd get back in Sunday morning, Monday morning, and then I'd go back in and work in the office. And I still was doing a little bit of Ruth's Chris in the very beginning. So I was just kind of like anything that I could do. And then what the fun thing about Ruth's Chris is some of the people that would come in that I was now working with, like Dan Huff came in. And I was like, ooh, wait, he's like producing for Kane. I gave him like a really, really good table and like made it all fancy. And he had just like won ACM producer of the year or something, like made a little card on his table and like put glitter all over it. But it was like that, even that little part of working at Ruth's, I was able to kind of, so it's like, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Right. You can still like grow in your career in the industry where it's like, learn who these people are, you know, take care of them, make a good impression. And like now Dan and I laugh about that all the time in the studio with Kane. He's like a very good friend of mine. Yeah. But at the time I was like, man, I was so nervous. You were coming in. I was like putting your little card on your table.
But the nervousness didn't stop you from acting. And so many folks get nervous about something. They know they should do the thing, but they get afraid to do it. And you haven't shown any of that, which is lovely because it creates opportunities. Even if all of them don't work, you're still putting yourself out there. You're still showing people you've got some gumption and a brain in your head and enough kahunas to try things. And that's generally the life of high eyes. We try so many things that eventually some of them start working. Yeah. And we forget about the strikeouts. You forget about that. You let it go. Whenever you screw up, because everybody's going to screw up, you don't focus on that. You just forward. What's the next big idea?
I've had plenty of things not work. Yeah. Plenty of things.
Yeah. And they're not even worth talking about because you just, you move on to the next, move on to the next thing. How do you keep yourself, because you're always on the go, the 24 days in Asia, the maintaining a marriage, both folks in the music industry, all the things you got going on, Nightly Kane and the rest of the roster at Neon Coast and more things coming onto the roster. How do you keep yourself from frying out?
Finding things that bring you joy, and giving them priority when you need them. I love to do Pilates. Okay. And I've found an incredible place here in Nashville and an incredible instructor. And she teaches like at 8 a.m. before my phone starts blowing up. Yeah. And I make it a priority to go do that because that's very like centering and it really makes me feel good. Like we were talking about it yesterday about just exercise and like how important it is just to move your body and like find something that works for you. Mm-hmm. I also love Lifetime Fitness. This is not a plug for them, but my gosh, it is the most wonderful thing. We talked about it. I go for like 4 hours when I can. Yeah. But that's normally like I'll go on a Saturday night when it's like very slow and people aren't really bothering me if I'm not on tour. If I'm not on a show on a Saturday night, I'm probably at the gym. And you go and you like do your whole workout, but then you like go sit in the hot tub and you do the cryo and the steam room, the sauna. So yeah, I think finding things that bring you joy and that are good for you and for your body. And I get a lot of joy, honestly, from traveling. Like I love to see places. So when I go now, and this happened after COVID, really, Martha and I like looked at each other one day during COVID and we were like, we have been to the most amazing places in the world. Mm-hmm. We have not taken advantage of like, we should be going out one day early if we can and having a really nice dinner somewhere. Yeah. Or like seeing site or castle. Something. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Right. Going and do something. And her family comes out with her a lot, which is cool. And she's getting to like see a lot of those things again, like for the first time through her kids' eyes, which I watched them experience that together as a family, and it's really, really beautiful. But I've kind of made it a point where it's like, yes, this is adding a little bit, this is a little bit more money, but this is going to set me up for the next week. That's right. That I'm doing of work where it's like, I get to have this moment, go to the beach, go to a football game or something, something that is joyful to me, and then you get into it. But that's not always easy to do. It is busy. Well,
you're being intentional about it all the way from tacking on extra days on the trip or going to Lifetime Fitness at Saturday night. And we talk about that. It's people, self, profit, self. You've got to look after yourself. And that is the only way to maximize your work performance is if your personal self is fine-tuned. And so you're paying attention to that, which is amazing. Yeah.
Also, boxing is great. For people in the music industry, especially.
You boxing people in general, or are you boxing in a crowd? You just walking around boxing people? Is that?
I did box people once. Yeah. I did rumble on the row. I won it.
Am I going to catch a left hook before you leave?
You might. No, not you. But that's a great stress reliever, man. The boxing class, that is wonderful.
Boxing is hard too, man. That's a hard class.
Yeah, but you feel so energized and accomplished when you leave.
Yeah. Yeah. You survived.
And you get to hit something.
Yeah. What's next? You've got a dynamic roster already. Mm-hmm. How are you evolving, and how is Neon Coast evolving? What's next?
We got a lot of stuff. We're growing. We're signing new artists, all different genres. We're doing different things with production, TV production, shows, something I'm really excited that I'm working on right now. has to do with sports and TV. And I think that's a thing too that you brought up about Martha is I do think of like crazy weird things all the time, kind of outside of the box and not always just straight down the line of music industry, especially not even just like straight down like country music industry. And we have like ideas all the time. Martha and I have probably had, I don't know, 40 different company ideas that we've brought up over the years. It's been a long time we've worked together, but we just have fun thinking of like fun ideas for companies and different things we want to start. Yeah. And I'm seeing a lot of them right now where they're like about to start to really become like a real thing and happen. So we're gonna get much busier, but it's gonna be a lot of different fun things and everything kind of can help each other. Yeah. You know?
Guys, you're listening to her walk right into her disc profile. You're hearing busy and fun and new things. Those are when you're trying to recognize who you're in front of from a disc perspective, when you hear the word fun and busy and a lot of things, that is an I signal. Ding, 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 ding. And that's beautiful, especially if you've got a sidekick in Martha who can ride that wave with you. And then you guys eventually turn those things into action. Yeah. Sometimes high I's have great ideas, but can't ever get around to the execution part. Right. Because they're on to the next idea. Yeah. Right. And you guys have a fair balance of being fairly grounded and vetting out what really has the potential to have some traction. Yeah.
And a lot of trust. If I bring her something and she's like, then I trust her in that. And it's like, all right, I'm gonna pivot.
Well, you've got enough time and grade with each other to you've got an amazing amount of trust built between the two of you. And team, that goes back to loving on your people, loving on your team members, giving them rope to grow their own career inside of your business. And when that happens, people tend to stick around. And I'm around Martha and Nikki a lot. They do not act like boss and employee. They act like teammates. And that is a beautiful thing. And that takes effort on both sides of the ledger. Yeah. And as you guys have brought in new people, you try to treat them the same way. They have to earn their way into that. Mm-hmm. But there's a lane. Yeah. There's a lane for it. There's a lane for everybody to grow, which is amazing. Where can listeners follow your work and Neon Coast's work? How do they keep up with you?
Instagram.
Oh,
we post a lot on there. Yep. Yeah, mine's at Nikki Boon and Neon Coast is at Neon Coast, I believe. I should probably look it up. But yeah, I mostly I'm keeping up with the stuff that we're doing on there. Yeah. Post a lot about it on there.
They're super searchable. You can find them. They're one of them's in a different magazine every month. So go out there and learn about them. But they're a management company that does it right, and they're driven. They got a very good mix on the team of driven people, and now we have built some organizational people into the business as well, and it's just working. And the results are, look at how their artists are doing, and Kane in particular, and all the other y'all have him doing more than singing songs.
Oh yeah, we were talking about it yesterday. A cereal, a barbecue sauce with Guy Fieri. He has a monster truck. He has another thing coming out soon that's very exciting that I can't say yet, but he's so pumped. We've been working on it for like 2 years. Yeah, all the fun things, fitness things that he's involved in. Because as much as I like to have ideas and try to do fun, different management things, artists too are like, they get at a place where like, man, I really like to, I'd like to have a cereal. It's like, all right, I love a task. Yeah. I love if my artist will come to me and be like, I want to do a cereal, or I really want to get connected with this person. It's like, oh my gosh, let me freaking run. That's my favorite thing. I tell them all the time. So it's fun to do that as well.
Dreamweaver. That's the Dreamweaver part of being a high I, right? High I's are able to very easy, not that other people can't, but high I's very naturally can see the big picture and can hop on the magic carpet. And that is the strength of a high I, is being able to ride the magic carpet with someone's big idea versus dumping on it. Yeah. And that's amazing. Well,
Kane's got a lot of F1 stuff coming up too, which has been really fun.
And it was just on Nashville 911 as well.
Acting, 911 Nashville. He did incredible job on there, and he looked so strong. Yeah, lifting that whole thing up.
Saving the day.
He can do anything. Yeah, that's the thing, is we do believe that. Yeah.
Well, he's lucky to have you, and I'm sure he feels that way. But you guys are constantly putting him and your other artists in positions to win, and it's you really are, and y'all care about them in a way that is lasting and sustaining, and that's one reason that they stick around y'all for a long time. You don't have churn in your organization, which is amazing. It's really good. I'm so proud of you. It's been fun. It's been fun watching you over the last few years. And when I talk about you behind your back, which I do, I really tell people you're one to watch, and you are literally just getting started in my mind. In a baseball diamond, I think you're headed towards second base right now.
Okay.
I think that's where you are in your career.
I'll take it.
I think you're headed towards second. But
thank you.
I appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you and all the wisdom that you've brought to us and our team, and you've made me a better manager.
I'm just
so
happy
thank you.
to be a part of it. Okay, team, that's it. If you liked this today, tell everybody. If you didn't like it, don't tell anybody. And it'll be on all your favorite platforms where you get podcasts. And until next time, stay well coached. That's it for today. Thanks for being here. I hope something in this conversation sparked a new idea or gave you a little clarity. We'll be back next week to keep digging into what it means to lead well, grow smart, and build something that lasts. Until then, stay well coached.